les fleurs de vermeil. Tes jours durant, fuyant la nuit, je pars pour ta peau. Je parcours la vie, la fumée suave de ta bouche file s'échappe de jour en jour. Quand je râle dans la nuit, je suis seul sous mes vices. Je t'aime quand il pleut, tu es la lampe de mes vœux. Je t'embrasse dans mes rêves et je t'aime au bout des lèvres. Je déteste le goût mièvre de leur bouche, de leurs rêves. Dans la nuit tu me regardes, sous les nuages je divague. Avec toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi. Aime-moi dans la neige, aime-moi sous le soleil, aime-moi la poubelle dans les fleurs de vermeil. Aime-moi dans la neige, aime-moi sous le soleil, aime-moi la poubelle dans les fleurs de vermeil. Tes jours durant, fuyant la nuit, je pars pour ta peau. Je parcours la vie, la fumée suave de ta bouche file s'échappe de jour en jour. Quand je râle dans la nuit, je suis seul sous mes vices. Je t'aime quand il pleut, tu es la lampe de mes vœux. Je t'embrasse dans mes rêves et je t'aime au bout des lèvres. Je déteste le goût mièvre de leur bouche, de leurs rêves. Dans la nuit tu me regardes, sous les nuages je divague. Avec toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi, toi je suis roi. Fuyant la nuit, je pars pour ta peau. Je parcours la vie, la fumée suave de ta bouche file s'échappe de jour en jour. Quand je râle dans la nuit, je suis seul sous mes vices. Je t'aime quand il pleut, tu es la lampe de mes vœux. Je t'embrasse dans mes rêves et je t'aime au bout des lèvres. Je déteste le goût mièvre de leur bouche, de leurs rêves. Dans la nuit tu me regardes, sous les nuages je divague.
Золотые кресты. Alright guys, I didn't want to, this is kind of going to be like a no talking stream, just because you'll hear this in a second. Just listen to the wheel. Do you guys hear this? Do you hear that? It is by far the most annoying thing imaginable, and it's driving me crazy. But I don't know, I saw some familiar names, I felt bad. So we'll put up with it. If it's too much, don't worry, like I'm trying to fix it. But if it's too much, just it's okay. I'm not gonna be offended if you don't wanna watch. You know. We're gonna call this in just a little bit. It's just a little bit too wide. I normally don't like throwing stuff like this because it's just a little bit too like simple looking, but I'm making these for my aunt, and so it has to be done. I feel like I'm not traveling anywhere for the holidays this year, so I gotta make sure I do the I gotta make sure I just do my family due diligence and try to make them gifts at least, right? Okay. So we got a pretty nice little bevel on that edge, just a standard form. I'm gonna put 2 little glaze stops that are gonna be kind of look like designs, but they're really just for stopping glaze from running all the way down to the pot. So there's these 2 lines, and I leave them a little bit chunky, and I don't really care if they're not even, because the glaze pulls up so much in there, usually you can't tell anything about it, but here we go. The trees were just for the for that year. That was just the project for those ones. Ah, ka-chow. Yeah, the trees were just for the year. So I'm doing some other things, and this isn't even really what I'm working on nowadays. This is just like a side quest. This is a pottery side quest. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I got a couple more of these to throw. I'm gonna do them in batches of like 13. I already threw like 6 of them, and then I made a bunch of bowls. I don't think I posted my bowls YouTube short yet, but I thought that that one was kind of a vibe. Sometimes I'll watch like these like edit songs, and I'm like, oh, I gotta make a pottery version of this. Oh, interesting. Is the clay eating meme still alive? Yeah, it's the craziest thing. That meme is still cooking. I don't know if it's a meme, but I feel like it's so difficult to like look at that video, keep on climbing. It makes me laugh, but it's like, oh no, it's always never the things that you want to do well that do well, but that's okay. At least it's doing well, right? I'm gonna keep on cruising. I feel like after the trees too, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm a little lost. I got some ideas though. Right now I'm doing a lot of these water whistles, but there doesn't really seem to be like a goal with them, you know, other than just to make them. Like the trees were kind of like a test, but I don't know. Just trying to figure out life stuff like we all are, right? Anybody can hear me? How loud is that the wheel sound for you guys? Like the grinding, metal grinding sound. Because for me it's pretty dang loud, but I don't know if it's like my microphone auto filters it out. Kind of quiet. My voice or the grinding of the metal?
Tonight's the night. And it's going to happen again.
The grinding is quiet. Okay. Not too loud. Okay. I'm telling you, for me, it is like, it's ear piercing. It's really ear piercing. It's like sneaker squeaking, you know. And I don't think it's the bearings of the belt, which makes things a little bit more difficult. This one's a little bit off center on the bottom, so we're just going to try to cut that all off with this and see where this gets us. We're going to take off a lot of that bottom excess material. Going back down to the bottom here, and let's feel out how thin we got that. We're still pretty good. We're just gonna try to pull this a little bit thinner. We're not really trying to get any more height, we're just trying to get it kind of even there. Okay, so now we're gonna straighten this thing out. This is the thing I don't really like about these things I'm making at this moment is all those nice little lines that we were baking into the object, we're trying to remove them through this process here, right? And so I feel like it's kind of a waste of, I don't know, I just feel like it's not being honest. Yeah, you gotta push that bump up to the top. Yeah, but it's not being honest to the vessel. You know what I mean? Like, I like when the clay isn't trying to be something that it didn't end up to be, right? I think there's too many little tools and too many little things nowadays that you can use to just like smooth things out. Sometimes I just like the lines. Okay, also it's a little bit not as wide on this bottom, so we're gonna be very slow. We actually don't, I'm not a big fan of this one right now. We could cut that top flap even, but we're just gonna leave it as is. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna do one here. One here. Get right up underneath this edge and kind of lift this up just a little bit. We'll call that one done. Jesus Christ, Morgan. You're the Bay Harbor Butcher? No way! I never watched Dexter. Actually, that's not true. I watched the first 3 episodes and then I didn't get into it. But I think they had like a season finale. I keep seeing videos about that. So who knows? Maybe in sometime during this next year I'll watch Dexter. Kind of like that. I think that looks okay. So this one can be a little bit wider, I think, because this chunk is a little bit bigger than the other chunks. Grab that, push it up against that wall, and bring this all the way to the top. And as you get taller, you spin faster. Tilt this over a little bit. I hope you guys can kind of see how that works there, right? Ready? Tilt that hand, and then this hand right here becomes the wall to push up against, right? So it's grabbing that clay from the bottom, scooping it up, tilting that hand forward, coming across, pushing it against that hand. There we go. Don't worry, we'll check for rabbits in a second.
Can I tell you something that I've never told anyone before?
Alright, 2 thumbs.
I'm a serial killer.
Right on the inside here. Opening this up just a little bit here. Okay. Bring it down. Wait, how do you know? The fact that you have that all memorized is crazy to me, yo. Okay. Llama's coming. Biting on this rim. Tadpoles too? Wow, you guys literally remember everything. That's crazy. I cannot wait for you guys to take a pottery class one day, and then like you're going through like the teaching things, and then like you're like, what about the llama pole? And your teacher's like, the llama pole? What are you guys talking about? That's so funny. The volcano? Yeah. Dude. That's crazy that you guys really remember all that. Alright, again, do you see at this bottom part, there's so much clay here. A lot of people, when they'll just start and they'll just push in, but really, you can get up inside this bottom part here. So watch me push down first. Do you see how I'm pushing that down? Look, there's no more ramp, right? I'm down and then in, right? And I want to see the bat head itself. And then you gotta be pretty slow on the bottom. Then you're slowly gonna walk this up. All the way to the top. Look at that. Always sort of tilting that in. Do you see how there's still slight taper in? I'm always trying to do that. In your mind, you can make a tree only in your mind, though. No, the trees are not. They're not too difficult, I think. Especially once you start getting into like medium height, like if you guys are ever using a little bit more of the sorry, it's kind of hard not to remember, or what was I even just talking about? I got distracted. Somebody commented, in my mind, I can only make a tree, only in my mind though. Oh yeah, when you start working with a medium amount of clay, I'm telling you, everything gets a lot easier. There's some times when you're working small, or if your hand can't like easily fit in here, it's a little bit difficult to actually do some of the things. Vice versa, when you go a little bit too large, that can also be a little bit difficult, right? But I'm pushing some tension in towards my fingers on the inside here, and I'm slowly grabbing that clay on the inside there, and I'm pushing that up against the wooden tool on the outside, right? And that's like a typical move, is to get that even, but you can see how I don't have the tension. I'm not just totally vertical there. I'm tilting it a little bit, right? And look at all this clay. This is hard clay. It should feel like you're cutting off clay when you do this, right? That's how you can tell if you're doing it properly. Okay. We gotta get some of the water out of this interior here. I just love your streams and still do. It's kind of hard not to remember. Yeah, like a slug. Jeez! I feel like that was... The trees were so much fun because, like, I had, like, a little thing for every step and stage. And so, I mean, it was really exciting for me to, like, get to those stages, you know? So I'm slowly walking this up here like a slug, right? And I want it to flare out a little bit towards the top, right? If I'm looking at it right now, it kind of cups in a little bit. We want it to flare out just a tad more. Again, we'll go right at this base, tilt this forward a little bit. And you see how I'm just slowly flaring out this? It's very subtle, but even subtle movements, when you bring them all the way from the bottom to the top, get exaggerated, so... yeah. Alright. I like this little, like, leathery thing. It's kind of like a chamois. Got some more clay on this bottom edge too, so we're actually going to try to get some more of this off. Nice. Right underneath. Grab that. There we go. Okay. Put our 2 little glaze stop marks. So there's 1. And there's 2. Second one, I feel like I could have done a little bit better of a job getting this. Oh well. Glaze kind of fills that up quite a bit, so we're not going to worry about that too much. Here's another one. Okay. Oh, I didn't wire this off. Does it really matter? Yeah, it does. I feel like the moment I don't wire something off, it's going to turn out differently than how they have been. I like how when I walked away, there's this dude like just standing in the background. It's so funny, actually. Alrighty. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. After that, I'm going to pull some handles, and then I'm going to edit the footage from yesterday. Alright. Some more water on here. This little tool here. Cut across this. Alright. Get another chunk. Camera A. Camera A. Zoom. First, you see what I'm doing with this finger? Sealing this, right? So right now what I'm feeling in this clay is you can see how it's actually twisting rather than being a hole, right? I can feel some hard bits and some soft bits in this clay, and so when I bring this up, the soft bits are wanting to move, but the hard bits are wanting to twist. And so you gotta be careful. If you put too much tension, all of a sudden you'll cause it to rip, right? And so the first thing that I do is I wanna get this bottom as narrow as possible, and I wanna create and define a new bottom. So I'm gonna bring this up one more time. I'm really trying to listen to what the clay is telling me. It's telling me, whoop, it's getting a little bit rippy towards the top. It's wanting to twist way more. You guys can even see, even though it looks a little bit more tilted, that's reflected to what's connected to the bottom is here. And it evens out, evens out, evens out, evens out. All of a sudden I'm getting a little bit too thin and too dry. And then right here, you can see it starts to twist again, right? I'm gonna tilt that over. Go right down to the bottom edge, and then look what this finger's doing here. Hook and cutting that clay, trying to define that new bottom as I'm pushing, and you can even see some of that clay gets taken off, so I can define a new even bottom, right? And again, go right to that bottom, watch this hand transition forward, and then bring this up, right? We're gonna keep doing that until we kind of get in a good spot to make our centered bit, right? So again, right down to the bottom edge. Take your hand. And so I really have one stiff little spot in here. I can feel it's trying to drive me crazy, actually. But we're not going to worry about it too much. We got center enough. Get some water. Make our little pond. And the key with working with clay that's a little bit off-center is always cut. You always want to be cutting the clay. Okay? Start from the middle and bring this out. And this is your time to kind of get this whole interior kind of nice and set the way that you want, right? If you want to spiral at the bottom, then make your spiral on the inside, right? There we go. And we're going to slowly walk this up. And this is going to be kind of fun because you're going to see this this is going to be a more off-centered cup, right? You can feel it even from these beginning stages if it's going to be centered or not. It might look pretty even. I'm telling you, the more we work with this thing, the more you're going to see that exaggerated little buffer from the centering phase reflect into this vessel phase. Okay, again, right down. Find that bump, walk that up. Okay. Some more water on the inside here. Now we're going to get rid of all of our nice little lines. And so right there at that bottom, that's where I have this like off-centered little hard chunk of clay in there. I think that looks okay. Just trying to get some of that water out of this interior as well. Cut off some of this bottom stuff here. Just trying to make sure my sponge didn't damage it too much, right? You can see this build up here. So, just get rid of that, right? I feel like if we work on that bottom anymore, we're actually going to screw some things up, so we'll leave that as is. But you can kind of see it's a little bit off, right? Two little glazed lines. It's his bottom. Oh yeah, I want to round off that top. I used a sponge on that top, so I got to make sure and I didn't wire it off, I don't think either. So we got to go do those two things. So taking this little leather again, right on this top edge, smooth that off. There we go. Nice. Let's take our wire. Hello, wire. This just reminded me of that scene from Breaking Bad where camera A. It's Jesse and Walt. They're in the what is it called thing? The RV, and they're cooking in the desert, right? And then they get stranded there and they don't have a battery. So Walter makes a battery, and Walter goes, "What one element conducts electricity the best, or something that we have access to?" And then Jesse goes, "Huh?" Like, and then Walt like picks up the wire and is like, what element? What element? Like one in copper, right? And then Jesse goes, "Ah, wire." Dude, that I'm telling you, that is such a good scene. Such a good scene. All right. Okay. We're gonna get a nice little, another chunk of clay here. I see, that's what it is. It's the bottom of this is actually dry, which is crazy. My wet box is dried out, and that's what's causing this bottoms of these things to dry out so much, huh? Essentially what's happening is that if you see the bottom of this is drier than the rest of this, right? Because it's sitting on plaster. I thought the plaster was wet though, so it wouldn't be taking moisture from the bottom, but in fact it is. Which, when you're working with like a smaller amount of clay like this, it's really hard to work through like those hard bits where when you get like maybe double this size, right? Or triple, it's actually a lot easier to get those chunks out. Oh, you can even hear some of that. And I wedge this one up good. Put some cocoa water in it and it will no longer be dry. Cocoa water. Is that what it said on the side of it? I like a little sprayer. Like I have this thing called a Zep. It's a Zep professional sprayer. Like this thing. I love this thing. Cocoa water. Just like chocolate water. Is that a thing? Alrighty. Zoom. Oh, just like the reclaimed water? Yeah, I could do that. But I feel like I gotta be careful. I can't get them too tainted. Because if they get too tainted, then if I work with like porcelain, I won't be able to store them. Well, to be honest, you're right. I don't really care if the bottom of my porcelain objects get a little bit of stoneware in them. So this one's really off too. But this one's off because it seems like there's air bubbles in it. Got some of those bubbles out there. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just cut my fingers in. So you can see how I'm holding this rim and I'm really trying to cut those bubbles out using my finger here. And as soon as you kind of hear them go, then you can continue. Or you could leave them there. Some people think that, also I don't have any music going. Is that the sound of the wheel a little bit louder now? Or now? Now that there's no music in the background? Because I wonder if that's also maybe just a temporary fix while it's being really loud. Oh, there was music, but enough people came in here, and then I was just gonna keep myself muted because it's like pretty loud. Or for me, I thought that the wheezing sound is really loud, but some people were saying it's actually kind of quiet. So then plans changed, and I couldn't help but to unmute myself. And it looks like maybe the music in the background is like, come on. Yeah, it's just, it thinks that I'm not around. Oh, but I can't see the anymore. I know, it is the most annoying frequency ever. If you guys probably aren't getting it as like bad as I am, just because it seems like my microphone's like trying to block out some of the buzz. But it feels like somebody's just like on like they're on in gym with like gym shoes, and you know that squeak. And now imagine the gym floor was just moving and somebody just had their foot standing still. It was just a continuous squeak, you know? So obnoxious. And I was saying earlier, I don't think it's the belt. Like, it's somewhere not the belt. So I already tried to take the casing off the bottom, and it was not, no sound was coming from that. So it's probably something that's a little bit more difficult to fix, which is kind of sad, right? Okay, and we'll go right down to the bottom edge here. Again, taking that all the way to the top. You kind of kicked it off. That's why I even had some headphones, like some of those like old like iPod headphones that I was just gonna put in and like play music from an iPod while I was doing this. I gotta fix it soon because I think it's probably loud enough for my upstairs, the neighbors that live above this place, to hear it. And I feel like I would not want to be like a bad neighbor. Okay. I think this looks okay. My neighbors are old, they won't hear anything that frequency. That's so funny. You're probably right. Okay. We got 4 more of these to go. Then I can show you guys what I'm like from the mobile camera. I can kind of show you guys what I'm doing. Also, this is getting a little bit too full of the muck. So let's get some new agua in there. Alrighty. Camera A. Also, higher pitches don't travel through walls and floors as well as bass. It does. Are you a sound engineer or something? I feel like that's very particular. Well, we are on YouTube, so you know a lot about sound stuff, or you're a YouTuber, like you like watching those like odd YouTube documentaries on stuff. Like I think of like Vsauce, and there's probably a lot more obscure ones that I can't name off the top of my head, but I feel like YouTuber people or like YouTube watchers have a lot of like really interesting obscure knowledge, right? I feel like that's why, like, when I talk to my dad and he's like, dude, you're so smart, I'm like, no, I just know random things I watched on YouTube, dude. Alright. Man, this one, do you see how like wobbly that is right at the beginning? So even though I'm using enough pressure to manipulate that clay, there's still some one side in this clay that's a little bit harder than the other, right? I'm not bad at video production, but I'm not professional in that area. Yeah, I feel like that's some pretty good knowledge though on that stuff. Thumbs down, that up, fill that pond. Can't have the tadpoles dry out. Hook your finger, roll that edge around. We want to get our little donut shape here, right? Alrighty. We walk this up. There we go, right on the bottom. Yeah, good night. No worries. Right down to the bottom again. You can see how I'm pushing down first. And I'm pushing in. But the thing with this is I'm not squishing these, right? I'm trying to push them both in, right? If I'm here, I'm walking them both in, keeping that distance the same. Alright. Again, find that bump. And walk that up. You can see my nails really cutting into that, but even though my nail, this is why when people say like I can't throw, I don't really have long nails, but my pointer finger's getting a little bit long, so it's cutting into the clay here, where you can see even though it's cutting through the clay, I'm still pulling the wall up, right? And then we're gonna go right down to this bottom edge here, push this in. I'm always pushing this right towards the little wooden tool here. And I'm getting rid of all the lines that we worked so hard to get. So sad. I feel like if I ever do like art fair stuff or like farmers market things, I'd make just a bunch of cups just like this. Oh, just getting a little bit kicked out there because my knuckle hit it. Okay. One more time. I'm walking this up. And we gotta flatten this out just a little bit as I get closer and closer to the top. Tilt that out just a tad. Look at that, right? Okay. Next thing I'm gonna do, where's our sponge at? Is our sponge? Actually, we'll wait until the end. we're gonna cut some more of this clay off the bottom here. Get some water in between. Get this off. Just right on here. Pop this out. Right underneath. Nice. Look at that. That one's a little bit above the other, but I think that looks pretty good. Alright. Grab our wire and go through the bottom. And I'm trying to leave myself enough clay on the bottom to actually carve a shallow foot. So I'm actually going to be trimming this. Dude, I can't stop laughing whenever I walk up and I see just a dude scowling. like literally like, this is him. Oh wait, I gotta get on this side. That's so funny. It's a guy from a show called Dexter. It's a show about like a serial killer. For some reason there's a bunch of edits and music about it right now. I think the series is coming to a close, so you know how the algorithm works. Right now I'm just playing random YouTube algorithm, but I just think it just makes me laugh. He's just such a funny dude, you know. I know he's meant to be a serial killer, but just makes me giggle. Do you ever do farmers market or our market cups are a good idea? If people don't stop, just whip out the wheel and work. It'd be a crowd magnet. Maybe. I mean, I don't think I'd want to go. I'd go under a different name. It'd probably be like something like artsy fartsy, you know, like just like white background with like a black logo that's like a line or something, you know. And I'd call it, or it'd be like a line and then like a half circle and then a full circle in the shape of kind of like a bee, right? But trying to disconnect the symbol of a bee from it, right? And then it's going to be more of like a, I'm going to call it blanks, right? And it's just going to be a bunch of just like white, basic, simple forms, nothing else. That's it. And they're going to be super cheap, so I can sell a bunch of them. But I'm probably not going to do that. But it's a thought. Or make blue ones. Blue, I feel like does good. No one cares about your logo on a farmer's market. Yeah, it's more of like, yeah, I know that, but it's kind of like the performance of it that I think is, oh, dude, there's a pentagram in the background. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, so funny. All right, I gotta stand in front this time. I can't stand up. YouTube's gonna kick me off. Wait, this song's on YouTube though, so it's probably fine. Okay, what was the last pot? Or that was the last pot. Whenever you have time there. Also, good night to Mr. Llama. Good night, yo. Thanks for stopping in. It was fun. No, this is not satanic. That's why I'm trying to cover up whatever's in the background here. It's just a song. I'm not a cult leader, I swear. You meant the cups? Oh yeah, I could use all black clay. That would be kind of cool too. Just something just like that's totally outside of what I normally make. These are already outside of what I normally make. Like I feel like these cups are just kind of like a little lame. Run into what happened to trees? The trees were just for a project. They weren't really like, it's not like my thing, I guess, right? Like, the trees were just like a project, not really a, my life's work, you know? I'll probably make trees again one day, just not right now. I gotta get this a little bit thinner. Maybe that was a little bit too thin. Hold on. I feel like I have another little hard chunk in here too, but again, we're not gonna worry about it too much. I feel like that's the death of every pot, is caring about that bump or like the unevenness a little bit too much, right? That up. Right to the bottom. Why are you making cups if you think they're lame? They're just for my my aunt. Maybe lame's not the right word. That sounds too like too harsh of words maybe. I just think that I'd rather be making things that normally aren't made on the wheel than things that are normally made on the wheel. Alright, again, find that little bump. Don't want that up. Pretty close to being on a good spot there. He's making voodoo clay dolls, and all of us are observers with into his witchcraft. Wow, that's interesting. You're making me sound like I'm a puppeteer or something. Pentagrams don't symbolize Satan or anything satanic. They, just like triangles doesn't really mean anything. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if every person thinks that way, you know? And so, like, I feel like already there's a bunch of people that just like want me to just think I just eat a bunch of clay all the time. I feel like I'm trying to avoid another instance. But that's okay. Oh, we kind of screwed that up. Get some water on here. We'll fix that in a second. And so that's the last bit of that off-centered clay on this bottom that's kind of messing with us. So just making sure the tip of the tool cuts that off. Great. Get some of this water out of here. And again, we're going to get rid of all of our lines one more time using the forbidden shaving tool. First, we're just trying to take that in, right? And then we're going to smooth this out.
My name is Dexter Morgan. I'm a serial killer. I don't know what made me awake.
Dude, the Dexter Morgan songs. They need to stop, yo. Come on, Dexter. Stop taking over YouTube, bro. I gotta go a little bit wider. Yeah, I think that's okay. Okie dokie. Give me the sponge. Here we go. Alrighty. And then, again, round this top off. Sweet. There we go. I always like beveling the edge rims on it, but you want to make sure that they're not too sharp, or else they're just going to get chipped all the time. So I'm rounding that off just enough so that I think that it's okay. Alrighty, here we go.
Human interactions, but I feel like I faked them all.
Camera A. Alright, I don't want to stop listening to the Dexter Morgan edits, so hold on, give me a second, guys. It's a good sign when you hear the Game Boy sound. That's what we like. Good? Come on, green screen, why do you do this to me? Ka-chow. Now my secret's revealed. I don't actually have superpowers. What the hell? Alright. Get over here. Gotta get that filter going on. Gotta get that filter going strong. Gotta get that filter. Yeah. Maybe we'll set this one on there. Alright, chill. We gotta dance with the cup. Alright. Good. We're at a game. It's like when you play Mario Kart and you turn the controller because you think it's gonna help you make that right turn. Turn it. Gotta hit the bumpers. Gotta get a bowl. It's our steering wheel. Good chow. Pew! What a vibe, right? Actually, don't know what did that. What about zoom? Does it on in zoom? It is. Come on. Oh wait, is it wheel? Wheel. No, it's gotta be something else. Oh, watch this. Gimbal? There we go. But when did I say that? Whatever. We got 2 more to go. That was our little interlude. to the last two. We're gonna get our clay. What's up? That is so funny. No. I just couldn't stand listening to the Dexter Morgan music anymore. I'll make these ones quick though. Moving this inside to the edge here. Great. We're gonna walk this up and over. Here we go, right down to the side. Pick that edge up. You can see where my fingers are creating that little bump. Tapering that edge just a little bit. Again, going right down to the bottom. Come in a little closer, guys. I'm not gonna bite. Zoom. There we go. Oh, I should have done one lap of Mario Kart. I actually can do that. Okay, I went a little bit too wide here. That's okay. You gonna do anything special with these cups? They're just gonna be for my, they're gonna be for my aunt. My aunt Sheila, she's like, has some like nutritional store or something. I don't know. I don't know what she does. But she asked me for some soup bowls and some cups or some mugs. And when my family asks me for things, I think they don't know that I don't like to do this stuff. I think they think that I really am like obsessed with every part of pottery. I don't think they realize that I actually do not like making this, like just normal cups and mugs and bowls. At least it's not plates. Plates are no fun. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Heck yeah, she should. Yeah, she probably, I think she is gonna sell them at her store, but I'm gonna tell her I don't want to be paid for it. Cause I don't know, I've always thought it's weird. Like, I don't like the idea of like my family, like helping me out like that. Especially just like my aunt. I don't know. I'd rather just, she's family, she can get them for free, you know, she doesn't have to, I don't want her to like have to do anything for me. Okay. I think this one's okay. I think it's a little bit weird towards the bottom, but we're not too worried about this. Should I go out a little bit more? I think it should, but we're not going to worry about it. Come on. We got one more to do. Yeah, I mean, I just want to, I don't know. That's just not my thing. I'd rather I just do something nice for them and not have to be like paid money by them for what I'm doing from them. They're my fam, you know. Alrighty. There we go. Whenever I see you trim the face, I think of a wasted dragon tails and handles. That's so funny. Well, you know, if they're mine, what I do is I'm like if I was making them for me, I would take that little tail part and I'd make it a little bit more intentional by bringing it away from the object a little bit out to here. And then doing so, then you can bring that up and it gets a really nice ribbon fold. And then you can take that and you can actually set it on the side of the cups as a handle. So the part you trim off makes its way back into the vessel. Do I have any of those around? I feel like I have to have one around. That's what this is. Yeah. Like, look at this. How it has this like side on it. And then I trimmed this top uneven. So like I took a wire and I just kind of like bounced it to make it look a little bit more loose. And I kind of drew on it with these lines using the end of a wooden knife tool. And then this part right here is the stuff I cut from the bottom, right? So I like those ones so much, and they feel like dreamy to me, you know? Yeah, that's like more I feel like my vibe of making stuff, right? I think it has a lot more of my personal energy, but like I said, I know that it's not really what everybody likes. So I gotta kind of keep it a little bit more tame. All right. It's the second time? Yeah, that one is, I did a bunch more, but those are upstairs. I have a ton of pots that I could show you guys. Like glazed ones that I like. I think a long time ago I said I'd have one where it's a stream of me like showing you guys my favorite cups and things, but mugs and pots and vases, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff. And I think too, when you see a lot of that stuff, it's kind of fun for me at least, because I'm like, oh, okay, like, man, I see that happening in another spot, right? Like I'll be working on something and then all of a sudden I'll look over and I'll see that, and I'll see like odes, like O-D-E, ode, to other older forms in these new forms too, right? I like that stuff a lot. Here we go. But that's one where you do take that little tail part that I'd be making these tails with recently, or for the dragons, how I'd be making the tails for the dragons. And you just set that back on the vessel. Wow, it's still on the wheel too. That's like my favorite part about those, you know? Look at that. Okay. Okay. little bit screwed up on that top, but just enough to kind of snake that back in there. All right, let's get our wooden tool. Cutting this little edge on this bottom down, and kind of bring that in. And again, we're gonna have another little dragon tail here that we're gonna have to remove. But if you see, if you don't pull them out, usually you'll get ones that don't really look as nice, right? You kind of have to pull them out and thin them down a little bit. So there's almost like a little finesse to it, to be honest. Even though they're really simple to make, there is a little bit of a finesse to it. So this one's a little bit wider. I kind of like the way that this looks. I think that's the last one there. Alrighty. Alright, so let's get the... I'm gonna rinse my hands here, and then I'll show you guys what I cooked up yesterday after a stream, and then what I just did. And then we'll end the stream after that. Yeah, I feel like that's a cool thing about here. Let me just turn off this music. We already had our vibe time. This is a cool thing to think about. Camera A. Camera A. There we go. But people have done it in different ways too. Like, I think my favorite is watching the people do it with a paddle. I think that's just dope. I feel like wheel throwing is not as impressive as that stuff is, to be honest. It's a lot more fun. Mobile? Wonder if it's gonna work. Alright guys, there we go. What's up, dudes? Okay. So you guys can kind of see what I got cruising over here for us. I can probably turn... I got like this light on a little thing, so watch that. Tilted. You can kind of see more of what's going on here, right? So I got all these cups. So I did the cups, and then we did the... I'm gonna make sure I don't kick it. We did those bowls yesterday. So that's... I guess I didn't post that on the YouTube yet, but yesterday I made a little video edit of me making the bowls. Just kind of like simple, and super simple. We trimmed them earlier, but not really trimming them, just making sure the bottoms are a little bit concave so they don't have they don't rock. And then I try to throw them as thin as I can so they're weighted kind of nicely. And then again, you see those two little lines on there? That's what I was trying to mimic on all the cups, you know, those two little lines. So, yeah. Anyway, let's go over here. And I feel like I'm like playing Minesweeper IRL whenever I take a step. Okay. Camera A. Well, here. I have shelves like mobile. I have a bunch of shelves, but they're all full of other stuff. You know what I mean? So I have some shelves. It's just these are like old. These are like the predecessor to the tree forms here. These are like mugs and things. These are some other things. There's me flexing on a cup. I think that cup's hilarious. I have some of my buddies. I wanted to make some cups for them because I thought it was hilarious that, you know, I feel like every group of guys usually has like a gym phase where everybody like hits the gym. And that, here, camera A. That inspired me to make like, I was doing screen printing, but screen printing like on clay, right? And so I was doing like newspaper transfers when I screen printed underglaze on that stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I think that's it from me. I'm gonna make handles now, and I'm gonna trim those and put those on, but I probably won't stream that stuff because I just feel like trimming is like a big snooze fest. Trimming is a snooze fest. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing one more of the. I have one more water whistle planned. Maybe I'll do it. What time do I get back from work tomorrow? Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely on Wednesday, and I'll do that one. But anyway, see you guys around. All the best. Strong mentality. Goated 1. And it didn't work. I forgot because I was. Oh. Okay, hold on. I forgot I hid this stuff. Is this one goated 1? No. This is goated 1.